I feel a little bit conflicted about this year's Festival of the Lost update because I think it has the bones of a good update. It has the potential, the energy, has the framework of a good update. But somehow Bungie, I feel like just managed to shoot themselves in the foot again. And I can't help but feel like Festival of the Lost is a good update that's stuck in a broken game. And that Bungie just can't land the plane when it comes to their updates. And I'll go over all the problems with Festival of the Lost and the good parts. You know, we'll give credit where credit's due, but I feel like the amount of bugs and performance issues I'm having with this update, it's like, I don't know how many times Bungie needs to learn this lesson. How many times we gotta teach you this lesson, old man, that you can't push an update that's half finished. You can't push an update that is on paper good and then just launch it as a disaster and expect it to like be received well. You know what I mean? You know, we're gonna go over it. And so before we get into the topic, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Donkey and welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm trying to hit 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you enjoy my content and you like the video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below. But let's get into the discussion. And so first I want to talk about the activities that Bungie is offering with the Festival of the Lost update. There's a PvE activity and there's a PvP activity. And the PvE activity is called Haunted Altars. It's a 6-player activity. We haven't had a 6-player activity in 2 years since Season of the Deep, when Salvage was released with that update. Wasn't the greatest 6-player activity, I'll give you that. I barely played it. Barely played Salvage, wasn't very good. And so it's kind of good to get back in the swing of things. Okay, another 6-player activity. We haven't had that in a while. And you kind of launch into the activity and you immediately run into some problems, okay? In theory, I think this activity could be good. It's just, there's 2 main problems you're running into. Number 1, performance. The performance in this activity, in terms of like how the game feels, the lagginess and stuff like that, is so bad. In my first couple of runs, by the time you got to like tier 2, like when you had 2 portals and everything coming out towards the depot port or whatever, the game is so laggy, it's actually unplayable. Like enemies are teleporting everywhere, allies are teleporting everywhere. You know how like Excision has like pretty bad performance, like your frames are really low and you know enemies are teleporting everywhere, and there's like network problems in that mission because it's 12 players. So that 12-player mission is kind of pushing the boundaries of the game. You know, you have so many players in one place doing so many things with so many enemies. The game and the I guess maybe the engine or the servers or something are like really being stressed, and it feels like that's what's happening in this activity again. Like it feels like how Excision feels when the lag gets really bad. Obviously, I don't know if it's a me problem. I don't know if I'm the only one experiencing it, but every single time I went into the activity, I was having performance problems. I wasn't having any of those problems outside of that activity. So to me, it has to be something to do with Haunted Altars that's causing this performance problem. Second, there's a couple of soft locks in the activity. There's one where when you're fighting the final boss, if you do too much damage to the boss, it'll soft lock you. Like you won't be able to finish the activity. Like your whole team can like wipe, just fall off the map or whatever, and you'll respawn and be able to restart the boss and you can clear that way. But it's like really frustrating because if you're playing match made with a bunch of blueberries who don't know what they're doing and don't read the game chat, you know, you're gonna be calling everybody to wipe so you can fix the bug and they don't know what's going on. And so it's pretty frustrating. And then there's apparently, I haven't experienced this, but there's another soft lock apparently when you're doing the waves section, which is unfixable, where enemies will just stop spawning and so you just can't clear the activity. And so that sucks. And I think, you know, we've run into this problem a lot when it comes to updates Bungie's putting out whenever new content comes out, where there's so many bugs. This happened during Ashen Iron. This happened during Edge of Fate. Bugs galore. Bungie's handing them out like freaking candy, bro. It's Halloween. Here's a bug for you. Here's a bug for you. And it sucks because like I want to enjoy the activity. The activity is like a weird mix of Altars of Sorrow, Onslaught, and Gambit into one activity. And it's like not bad. Like it has the bones of a good activity. You know, when you kill enemies, they have hats on and you can grab the hats off the ground, put them on yourself, and it gives you a damage boost. Like it's like minor things like that that make the activity really cool, but it's just soiled and spoiled by the horrible performance and the bugs riddling the activity. And it's just, I just don't know what else can be said other than Bungie needs to get their act together and stop launching these updates with insane bugs. Because it's like, even though in theory, the activity could be good. The update could be good. It just tarnishes, it ruins the momentum of the update because it feels horrible to play because enemies are teleporting everywhere and the game is soft locking you, so you can't progress. Like, how do you expect players to react other than being extremely frustrated and angry because the game isn't functioning because it ships buggied, and it sucks, man. You know, one thing I will say that's good about the update is the PvP mode. Listen, you know, hear me out, okay? I actually really enjoyed the PvP mode. And it's something about the dynamic of the boss that moves around the map, which really changes like the objective plays in the game. I find, you know, the new game mode could go one of two ways. People treat it either as just a normal Rumble game where you're just going to get kills and stuff, or they actually play it like, I feel like the new game mode is intended to be played as, where you use the boss as the objective. Everyone goes to the boss, everyone's trying to pick the boss off, get the health down so it starts dropping motes or dropping ammo and stuff. And then as you're all surrounding this boss, you're picking each other off, getting some shots off, and it's actually really good. Like, I cannot express to you, I was having so much fun in this activity because of how the objective of the boss changed the whole dynamic of the game mode. It wasn't just normal Rumble anymore. It was like objective-based Rumble. It was really cool, and I actually really enjoyed the activity. And I would love if Bungie did like, they took this idea and they made it like an official game mode where, sure, maybe it's not like a headless one that's wandering around the map, but it's maybe like, I don't freaking know, like any other boss, like a knight or like an ogre or something, dynamically affecting the Rumble match. So I will say one thing, the PvP mode slaps, and that's like the one great thing about this update. So, you know, if you want to avoid the buggy PvE mode, play the PvP mode. Trust me, like even if you hate PvP, just try it. It's actually really fun. So I recommend trying that. Finally, you know, Eververse is loaded to the brim. I feel like we're beating a dead horse whenever we criticize Eververse store and how insanely jam-packed it is with like paid cosmetics and stuff. And it's just like, obviously it's like, okay, Bungie's never gonna change, right? It's the one thing I'm kind of like Dado in this. Like, Dado has the position where he says, I'm done talking about Eververse. It's never going to change. Bungie makes too much money on Eververse to ever change it. You're beating a dead horse. It's never going to change. And I kind of feel the same way. I feel nihilistic about Eververse store and how it's always jam-packed. No matter how bad the state of the game is, how many players are leaving, how low the player count is, those Eververse cosmetics are pumping in the store. You know, it kind of sucks, right? There is the dynamic where it's like, you have this jam-packed paid cosmetic store and a buggy game that's like unplayable. At least the PvE mode is completely unplayable. You know, it sucks. It's a horrible dynamic. It makes you feel like Bungie doesn't care. In some sense, like some parts of Bungie don't care. Like obviously upper management, they don't care, bro. They just want their bag, man. You know, lower level devs, community managers, they probably care. It's kind of like this weird dichotomy of the community and of the game. It's almost like represented in the game as like, here's the high class, upper class, beautiful Eververse store, and then the you know, the lower class game that you actually play. Ew. Look, it's full of bugs, but look at the Eververse store. Your fashion's gonna be so good. Ooh, baby, that hunter armor's sexy as heck. Yes, you can get the festival armor sets for free with Bright Dust, but still. Okay, it's just the idea, the dynamic of the in-game feelings of Eververse versus gameplay, right? That kind of puts the cherry on top of this update feeling like doo-doo. Bungie could fix this update by fixing the soft locks and hopefully fixing the performance of the PvE mode, because once again, it's like basically unplayable. If they fix that, I think you can call this a good update. The problem is it made a horrible first impression, and Bungie's been like, I don't know what they can do, bro. They've been making the worst first impressions for the past like 4 updates, because every major update launches with like a million bugs. You can't build momentum at all. You know, like DMG wants to build momentum for the game. You can't build momentum if every update you put out is like buggy and ruins the game, right? It makes it unplayable. So in general, overall, I think this could have been a great update off rip. on launch if it didn't launch with major performance issues and unplayable game mode and Eververse store packed to the brim while all the problems are happening. That's my thoughts on the Festival of the Lost. Go play the PvP mode. It's actually fun. Get your tier 5s through that. It's actually a fun game mode. So go play that as we hopefully wait for fixes, haunted altars. But that's all for me, guys. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. If you enjoyed the video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button and the like button down below. But that's all for me, guys, and peace out.